Dapp in an hour on Polygon. We're going to be attempting to build a Dapp together, all of us individually, but in a room/online. I've never done this in person before, so we'll see how it goes. It might be a dumpster fire, but I was hoping we would be able to build something in an hour to prove that we could do it. And I'm Steph. I'm a developer advocate at Polygon, and I'm Oceans404 on Twitter. I have a PFP, so no one ever recognizes me, but that's me, kind of. But I was meeting people in this room, and a lot of people are full-stack Web 2 developers, which I also was previous to this. I started at Polygon about 2 months ago, but before that I was a full-stack developer at Amazon for about 3 years, and then before that I was at startups and just random other companies. But block-end development, as my friend Patrick Collins says, is very similar to the full-stack development you're already used to. Your front-end stuff is pretty close to the same. Sometimes you still have a backend that you're used to with AWS or Mongo or something like that. But more often, you have things that are on-chain, on the blockchain. And so we are going to be mostly building today, but I just wanted to start with some quick fundamentals. And I had to add the SpongeBob meme because I like SpongeBob. I haven't watched it in a while, but he has like a fun song. And I feel like building is fun, so SpongeBob. But what is blockchain? Blockchain is just a public database or a ledger that's updated and shared across many computers in a network. That is like a decentralized network, which makes it more transparent because all of these different computers have a copy of the data. So if anybody changes something on the blockchain, you can see that happening in real time and understand something got modified. And we don't have that type of visibility in centralized systems. Like if someone went into an AWS database and changed something, you probably wouldn't even notice or see it. Maybe it would be logged, but only system administrators would understand something had changed. And then a block in a blockchain just refers to the data and the state that's being stored. We'll have a piece of state in our smart contract today, so you'll see kind of like what data looks like as you update it. And then if you have sent cryptocurrency to any of your friends or had it received, that gets added to a block as a transaction. And then once that transaction is approved across the chain, it's successful. And I got this kind of like definition from the Ethereum Foundation. They have tons of really great resources for higher level learning, especially if it's like not getting into the code, but you wanted to learn fundamentals, check that out. And then just like a quick overview of Polygon, the point of Polygon is to scale Ethereum in lots of different types of ways. So we have our Polygon proof of stake blockchain. We also have different ZK solutions, which are zero-knowledge solutions to prove things without having to actually show your private data. These are really awesome, and we had a big ZK EVM announcement this week at ETHCC. Check that out on Twitter because it was super epic. We also have supernets. We have private blockchains if you wanted to build one of those, and another new solution is Polygon ID, which is an identity ZK solution. The reason that I love Polygon proof of stake, there's like tons of reasons, but mainly I love the speed and scalability. Woo! I see Albert and Vito over there. The speed and scalability of transactions, it can be up to 10,000 times less expensive in gas than Ethereum. I remember when I was minting NFTs last year in the peak of the Ethereum gas prices, I would sometimes pay like $60 US to do a transaction. And I think the most I've paid on Polygon is like less than a penny. So that blows my mind. But you also get full EVM compatibility, which just means that when you code in Solidity, you compile it down to bytecode, and that works on the Ethereum virtual machine, which is great. So if you're already an Ethereum developer, you're also a Polygon developer. And yeah, those are some of the reasons I love Polygon. And then another reason I love Polygon is the prizes. We're giving away $12,000 in prizes for builders, both here and online. $3,000 per track, with half of it for in real life hackers and the other half for virtual hackers. That's a lot of bread. Ha. But we're just asking that you either deploy on our proof of stake testnet, which is Mumbai, or our mainnet. So quick wallet setup. Do you all have a MetaMask wallet already on your laptop? Yes. Just in case, I'm going to go through how to do it really quickly. You just go to metamask.io. I'll just show it super fast. I have the extension already, so I'm not going to have to download it. But you would download the Chrome extension, and then after that, you would have a little fox in the upper right-hand corner of your Chrome extension. I already have the Polygon Mumbai testnet, but I'll show you how to add that. So anytime you're doing development, make sure that you create a new address. This is super important. This will help you never accidentally leak the private keys to an account that has real Ethereum or assets in it. You just do that by clicking the upper right hand. You create an account. I like to name mine the date. So like today is 7/22, just so that I remember. And then I also I'll write like tutorial or test so that I know never to send real assets to this account. So now I have a brand new address, and I'm already connected to the Polygon Mumbai testnet, but this is not something that comes default with MetaMask, so you actually have to add this. You can go to Polyscan, which is just mumbai.polyscan.com. And this is one of the safest ways to add that network. You just scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's this little Add Mumbai Network button at the very bottom with the MetaMask little guy. And it just says Polygon Mumbai has already been added, but it would have added it if it wasn't already there. So I'm going to connect to this account just to show you. And the last thing we're going to do is add some faucet Matic to that account. So a faucet is just a mechanism for getting test crypto assets into your account, and that way when you're coding, you can post transactions, and you can also deploy your smart contracts without actually spending your real Matic. So I clicked to copy my address from this account, and I'm just going to paste it in to the get test tokens. Obviously, this doesn't work for real tokens. Otherwise, we'd all be gazillionaires because we'd go get faucet tokens from Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I'm just going to transfer myself 0.2 Mumbai Matic tokens. So it might take 1 or 2 minutes, but eventually we will see this Matic amount update in my account. And make sure you're on the Polygon Mumbai testnet. If I went to the mainnet or Ethereum, it would show no assets because this is a Mumbai faucet. Cool. So super quick overview of what we're going to be building with. This was Vitalik yesterday at the conference. He makes such funny fashion choices. I don't know who his stylist is, but it entertains me. But we're going to be building with React on the front end. Has everybody worked with React before? Or front end? Cool. Rainbow Kit, which is something that will help us get that connect to wallet button really quickly without having to do a bunch of coding. WAGMI, which is a React library for components for different Web3 things. Ethers.js, which helps us connect to the blockchain, as well as Hardhat, which is just like the development tools we'll use for deploying our smart contracts, which is kind of our backend. Also Alchemy for our RPC node, Solidity for our smart contract language, and then again, we're deploying on Mumbai. So LFC, let's fucking code. That was lame. But you can check out this repo. This is just on my GitHub. It's oceans404/superfast Dapp. I told folks in the room earlier, hey, that super fast doesn't mean it is a super fast scaled app, but it is pretty quick to build. So I'll quickly show you what we're building first. We're just going to build a number box. So we'll input a number. Like right now, the number is 4122, but let's make it 10. And then when you submit, it should open up our MetaMask. I can sign the transaction. And then the new number stored in the smart contract is 10. So pretty minimal UI. It's not going to win any design awards, clearly. But you can tell that you can switch the network if you want to from the UI. You can also see that this is the account that's signed on right now and the number, which is just a really minimal form in React. Cool. So let's build. You all can sit down if you wanted to code along, or feel free to just watch too. We're going to try to do this in an hour, and it might be a little messy. He's laughing because he's a DevRel person. He knows this is going to be crazy, but it's OK. OK, let's see if we got that testmatic yet. Cool, we did. So it took a minute, but it is in the tutorial account, and we're ready to code. This is my Twitter. I'll move this over here. but I'm just going to move the README into here. So I've got my README on the left of the screen. I tried to make it pretty robust, at least for the hard hat Solidity part, because I know a lot of you are full stack Web 2 developers or front-end developers, so this is kind of like the part we'll concentrate on more. But I'm assuming that you all have NVM installed. If you don't have it installed, feel free to do that. It's pretty quick. I personally use NVM version 18, and then also I have VS Code as my code editor, and then the code dot command installed so I can go straight from my command line. But I'm going to exit out of this app, and we're going to start pretty much from scratch. So I'm going into my terminal. Make it super big for you all. OK. I'm just in a demo repo. So first things first, let's create a Fullstack Dapp repo. So this is nothing special. Make directory fast dapp. Oh, I'm already messing up. So I'm just going to cd into fast dapp. And next step is the Hard Hat developer environment setup. So I'm going to create a repo for Hard Hat. So make dir Hard Hat. And Hard Hat is just a development. I'm just going to go into this really quick. It's just an Ethereum development tool for deploying and also compiling. So you can check out the documentation here. It's nice and quick, which I absolutely love. There's only 9 steps to this tutorial. We're not going to go through this. We're going to just do our own. But if you are doing this for the hackathon, I would just skip the tests for the hackathon and then go back to this part, of course, when you're doing anything in production. But we're in our Hard Hat directory, and all we have to do here is install and save Hard Hat. So npm i-save dev Hard Hat, which is just an npm package for Hard Hat. And once that's installed, we can run npx Hard Hat, which will help you scaffold out a Hard Hat project. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. But yeah, this tutorial is very similar just in terms of talking about creating a new project, all of that. OK, so now we can run that npx Hard Hat command. And you'll see it asks, what do you want to do? There's 4 options. I'm going to just create a JavaScript project, which is the top one. All of the rest, you can just leave defaults. And it'll start scaffolding out your Hard Hat project. This will create some templates for contracts, and then also a deployment script that we'll use. But this is how we'll deploy that smart contract. I'm going to have a sip of water really quick. Cool. So open that in your code editor. Command not found. No. I swear it was just there. Cool. So this is what was created with that Hard Hat command. It's similar to create React app or anything else you've ever used for quickly bootstrapping or scaffolding something. If you look in the contracts folder, you can see we have one contract called lock. You can probably guess what a lot of these things do, but we're going to create our own contract called numberbox. So either within here or within your command line, just create a new file and call it numberbox.sol. And sol is for Solidity. This just shows that you're working in Solidity. My code editor knows it. And we're going to create a numberbox.sol contract. I have the full code snippet here, and it's in the README as well, just so that you don't get distracted by all of the other different code that's going on here. But let's just run through it, and we'll comment it out as we paste it into the code editor. This first line is just saying what version of Solidity we're using. We're using 0.8.9. And then on line 4, contract number box just names the contract. Line 5 just says that we have one piece of state so far. The type is an integer, and it's called number. Next up is the constructor function. This is completely optional. You don't have to have one. This is just saying, like, this is the number we want line 6 to start with. So when we deploy our script, we'll add an optional number here. But this is just optional start. And then we have two functions. We have an update function and a read function. You can probably guess what those do. The update function is taking in one new number that will update number that piece of state. And then the read function is just returning the integer from the state. So this one changes the number to a new number. And this read function just reads and returns the current number from the state. And I know a lot of you said you've worked with JavaScript before. I find that Solidity looks a lot like JavaScript, plus a little bit like TypeScript, because you can see there's some typing, which is kind of nice. So I find it's pretty friendly to look at, and it's not too scary, I promise. But this is our smart contract. So the next thing we need to do is compile it. I mentioned before that Solidity needs to compile down in order to deploy it and have it be read in EVM. So go back to your terminal, make sure that you're in the hard hat directory, and this is the command npx hardhat compile. Cool. So it's compiled 3 Solidity files successfully. And we can see that we have some new artifacts, which is another folder up here. And there's something special called an ABI. For all my front-end developers, this is what you're going to work with directly on the front end. And this is telling the front end all of the different inputs that this smart contract has. So remember, we had that read function. We had a new number, which was a variable. We had an update function. And then the contract was number box. So nothing is on the blockchain yet, but it's all compiled and it's ready to be deployed almost. Next up, we're going to create an Alchemy project. So open Alchemy. Alchemy is a platform that provides a lot of different developer tools, including webhooks. So if you're doing anything with real-time stuff, check out Alchemy. But we're just going to use it to deploy our smart contract today. So we'll go to the Alchemy dashboard. You might have to create an account if you don't have one yet. I already have an account, but it was really quick to create one. So create an account if you haven't done that yet. If you do have one, just create an app with me. So you just click Create App from the UI. I'm going to name this Numbers Are Fun. And change the chain to Polygon and the network to Mumbai because we're on the testnet. No, I've reached the maximum number of dApps. Sad. OK, I'm going to have to delete one quick. I'll delete GM. Anybody know how to delete a dApp?
I think it was up there in the right corner.
Was it? Yes. OK. GM. Delete forever. Hope that wasn't important. OK, back to the chain, Polygon, and Mumbai, which is the testnet, create app. Cool. So now we have this nice little app within Alchemy. And we can view our keys. Don't steal my keys, guys. But don't share these with anyone, because otherwise they might throttle your Alchemy account, and that wouldn't be very nice. But so we know our keys. The next thing we're going to do is npm install .env --save. And this is where we're going to keep our keys so that nobody steals them from GitHub. So just run that in your terminal to install .env, and then create a .env file with touch.env. And we're going to create two variables. I'm naming them alchemy HTTPS URL, and the other one is going to be your MetaMask private key. So back in hardhat .env file, make that a little smaller. So this is the first thing that we're adding, and I'm grabbing it right from this HTTPS, so I'm just copying it from here. And this is the API key. It's also at the end of this HTTPS link. And the other thing we need is our MetaMask private key. So this is why I said make sure you always create a new test account. Don't use a real account when you're doing anything in development because you don't want to leak your private key on accident. But MetaMask has a quick little doc that explains how to export your private test keys. So you go into your MetaMask account. Again, this is just my tutorial account, so no keys will be leaked today. But you go to account details and export private key. I'm making super sure this is a tutorial account and I'm not leaking anything. That'd be so sad. Confirm, and then here is my private key. So this will be the other thing that I'm adding to the .env file. And I can't remember what I named it. Let's see. MetaMask private access key. Save this, and triple check that inside of the git ignore you have the .env file ignored. This comes default with hardhat, which is really nice. But next up, we're going to deploy our smart contract to Polygon Mumbai. So we need to save ethers, which is a library. So just install, copy this command, npm install --save dev, and then it's like the hardhat ethers library. And then the last thing we need to do is change the hardhat config.js. This is just what's telling you which network we're using because we're not using the Ethereum mainnet. So back in the code, let's go to the hardhat config.js. So far, this file is pretty minimal. I'm going to open this snippet just to show you the code that we're adding. So we're requiring the .env file for those two different private keys, essentially, that we just added to the .env file. And you can see we have Solidity pinned on the version. The default network is Polygon Mumbai. And then within Mumbai, we have the URL, which we just got from Alchemy, and then your account, which is from MetaMask. So you can just copy this in to your hardhat config and save. And if you were using the mainnet or maybe the Ethereum mainnet or the Ethereum testnet, all you would have to do is update the default network here. And then also within Alchemy, just modify to, where was it? You would just change this chain or this network here too. So two different places, and that's one of the beautiful things about Polygon and Ethereum and all of those chains being EVM compatible. Any of this will work once you know Solidity. Okay, so next up, we're going to write a quick little deploy script. We already have one that comes out of the box with hardhat. It's within the scripts folder in deploy.js. So this is for the math contract that was already living here. Or sorry, not math, the lock contract. So you can see all of the different lock references. They're creating a contract factory and then deploying it with an unlock time, which was part of their constructor. We had slightly different codes, so I'll show you our snippet and then we'll paste it in instead. So this is our deploy.js code. We're requiring hardhat because that's what we're using for the deployment library. There's a main function, and I have my favorite number, which is 3, which will go into the constructor. Let me just paste this in. I'm going to replace this full deploy file, but it's very similar. So again, on line 10, we have my favorite number, which is 3. On line 11, we're creating that contract factory with our named contract, which was number box from contracts right here. These two match. Then we deploy it, and we pass in the starter number, which is my favorite number from line 10. I'm console logging the deployment address just because it's easier to see where we've deployed it, and then waiting for that deployment to finish. Looks good? So now that we have this deploy script, we're going to run it by doing an npx hardhat run scripts deploy. And then you also have to flag the network within this call. So cool. This worked for a deployment. It says that it's deployed to this address here. Let's double check that in Polyscan. If you've ever used Etherscan to make sure someone sent you Ethereum, Polyscan is really similar. Where did this link go? Oh, it's at the end. But it's just a explorer for the blockchain. So I pasted in, oh, it's not finding it yet. Why is that?
So where did the gas go to pay for the deployment of that contract?
It had my MetaMask private key, so it was able to take it, yeah. But it doesn't look like it actually deployed, so I wonder what happened. It says it did. Let's see. Did anyone see a bug? Not yet?
It worked for me also.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Maybe mine is just being a little slow or my internet's funky. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Yay! So we have a contract, and it's on the blockchain forever. So this is the contract address. I'll do that one more time because that was kind of funky. But I grabbed the address from my terminal, and I just pasted it into the Polyscan Mumbai UI. And then I looked at this contract. I could see it worked. I looked at the transaction hash, and then you can see contract. So the 2 is contract created. Technically, when you post a transaction that's a smart contract deployment, the blockchain doesn't know who the 2 is yet. Like the 2 is left blank, and then the 2 creates that contract. So this contract lives here. But that's our smart contract. So now that we have that, we're going to bootstrap out the front end. And the 2 things we need to know are the smart contract address, which we have, and then also that same Alchemy ID that we have from before. So let's go back. We're done with the hardhat repo for now, so cd out of that, back into fast Dapp, and we're just going to create React app, and I called it front end. So npx create React app front end. This might take a minute. But does anyone have questions so far or anything? Is it less scary than you thought? Cool. Oh. Hey everyone online. Okay, so oh, that was faster than I thought. Okay, we'll seed into that front end repo. And then the next thing is, I mentioned the ABI before. So we'll cd into src, which is just the source, and create a contracts folder. Folder's the word. Make dir contracts. I'm just going to cd all the way back out so that I can just have one nice big. So this has my front end that I just bootstrapped, as well as that hardhat folder that we were just working with. And the front end now has a contracts folder within the front end. There's nothing there yet, but what we're going to do is copy paste the contract artifact. So back in Hard Hat, we had artifacts and then contracts. And there's something called numberbox.sol. We want numberbox.json. So this full file, copy it into this contracts folder on the front end. So now we have a full-on numberbox.json that our front end can read. And specifically, we're going to have it look for this ABI array, because that's how it's going to know what functions exist. So I'll just do an npm start. Oops. I cd'd into my front-end directory for that one. I'm going to close out some of these. I'll keep that one open. So now we just have a base create React app. And as you saw in the other one, we're just going to create a really quick form. I did this code earlier. I'm not the best at front end, so it's just pretty minimal. I'm going to copy this in, and you can too. So I'm just going into the app.js, which is up here. Why is this complaining? Oh, use state. Cool. And I'm just going to include this number box form within the app. I'll remove everything else. And now we should just have a static form that has that number box that we were looking at before. So this is not hooked up to anything right now. It's just a number. This is an input, and then a submit, which does nothing. I'll open the terminal really quick. I have a logging function. It's just logging the number that we have right now. So just quickly going through this code that we have that's making this front end, it's just a number, an input, and a button, a form. So it's using the state. On submit, we're just logging the number, nothing blockchain related yet, and it's within our app.js file. So now we have to hook this form up to talk to our smart contract. But the first thing that we're going to need is some kind of connect wallet mechanism. So there's lots of different things you can use for this. There's Coinbase wallet. Anybody know any other ones? I'm blinking. Well, we're using RainbowKit today because it's one of the quickest ones that I find. So I'm just going to open up the RainbowKit documentation. They have really great documentation, and we're just going to follow this to set everything up. Let me double check. Yeah, OK, so we're going to npm install the RainbowKit, also WAGMI and Ethers. WAGMI is that component library, and Ethers will help us connect to the blockchain. So you can see it's right here in manual setup. I'll just stop that for now. I'm going to run that install command. And then just follow the RainbowKit documentation. So the first thing we need to do is import all of that styling. I'm just copying it straight from the documentation. I'll put it up here under my React stuff. Next thing it's having us do is configure. So you can see there's chains and provider within this installation. And most of these are all mainnets currently, but we want to add the Polygon Mumbai testnet. So I'm just going to copy all of this from here. And then for now, I'll just stick it within my function app. And including, like I said, we need Polygon mainnet, so I'll just copy chain.polygon. I'll put it first, and then Mumbai. So it's chain.polygon Mumbai, which is what you have to add here so that the front end knows that we're also using this testnet. I'll save that. Next thing is the wrap providers. So it's asking us to wrap our entire app in WAGMI and Rainbow. So we'll do that. So far, the app was super small, so I'm just going to have that on the outside and put this on the inside, replacing your app with what we have, which is just that app and that number box form. And then the last thing we need to do is import this connect button. So I'm adding import connect button. I'll add that to the top with the rest of my dependencies. And then we can just add this connect button into our app. I'm just going to put it above the number box form. And if all went well, when we run npm start, we will have a button. Cool. So you can see we have that Polygon Mumbai testnet button, and we also have the amount of Matic. It's already connected. Let me see if it's connected to the right account. Doesn't look like it is. So I'm just going to switch the account really quick by disconnecting from the account that I had previously connected to and clicking Connect Wallet again. You can use your Rainbow wallet, your Coinbase wallet, or Wallet Connect, which is pretty great. So if you're doing it from your phone, it also works. And we didn't have to code any of this, which is lovely. Cool. So it's connected, but still nothing is hooked up. If we do this, nothing happens. But once we hook it up, it will pop open our MetaMask. So let's go back. I can't remember what we're doing next. Next thing we're going to do is hook up the read number part to the form. So first we need to import ethers from ethers. If you remember, we already installed ethers when we were installing Rainbow Wallet. I'll just minimize this. So I'm just going to add this at the top. And the next thing we're going to do is that read number function. So this is just an async function that is fetching the number from the chain. So no transactions have to happen in order to read. You can read for free on any chain. This is just looking for window.ethereum, which is a built-in Ethereum API that exists in Window. Nothing special there yet. But you can see on line 3, we have const provider is a new ethers. So it's reading from window.ethereum for your provider, which is whichever wallet is hooked up. I have my MetaMask connected right now. And then it's logging provider, looking at the contract. And, oh, I didn't define my ABI yet. So that is one thing I missed. Let's paste this code into the app function. So we have fetch number. It's not doing anything yet, but you can see there's nothing for contract address or ABI. So let's define these variables towards the top of the app.js file. So const contract address equals, remember we have that from our, here it is, from Polyscan from when we deployed on Hardhat. So I'm just going to add that here, save. And what else did it want? ABI. OK, so the other thing it needed was ABI. I'm blanking on this JavaScript thing. How do I reference a JSON file ABI? Is it numberbox.json?
I think you have to import with the name API.
Right, OK. Is it something like imports?
I think it is without brackets.
Oh, cool. Oops. I did something funky. Oh. Let's see if that works. It'll probably complain. I can't quite remember the syntax for that. I'm just going to super quickly check my full app.js for how to do that. ABI. Oh, OK. So up here, I had import contract from contract/numberbox. So I'm just going to paste that in. So this is just exactly what you said, referencing that JSON. And since this is the contract, and I'm specifically looking for the ABI, the other thing I need is to destructure that. So I'll just grab that piece as well.
What does ABI stand for?
Can't remember. Anybody know? Brownie points, if you know. ABI definition. Let's see. Oh, an acquired brain injury. So we have an acquired brain injury here. No, Web3.
Application binary interface.
You win all the points. Yeah. So it's just the interface that is giving us those references so we know the functions and the variables. Okay, so now that we've got that defined, literally and figuratively, let's see why my app is complaining. Okay, so we have to fetch number. We haven't created these pieces of state yet, but let's make a quick little use state in here. Okay, so we're going to be creating a little piece of state just within our front end, and it's just const num and set num is use state. Let's not set it quite yet. Wait. Why did I do that? That's silly. See, I told you live coding. Always fun. Okay, so numbox is what I think I called my state, hopefully. But what we're doing here is looking at Ethereum, fetching the contract, reading it with the read function, which is from our previous smart contract for reading the number, and then console logging it. So back in the React app, let's see if that read call is working. It's not because I didn't hook it up. So let's add a use effect to run this immediately. Oh, cool. That was so nice. Okay. Use effect is not defined. I'm just going to add that as an import really quick. Cool. We have our provider. Why is this not running? Let's see. Fetch number. Anybody know why that's not running? My front-end friends. Let's see.
Log the provider.
Oh,
So
there it is. You're right. We are logging the provider. Did I forget to log the number? Fetch number. So we have the contract. It's reading the ABI, the provider, and logging the data. Is this call failing? Let's see.
is contract defined?
Ooh, good point. Oh, it might be double defined. But it's in scope, so that should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. It's not getting to that try fetch. All right, I'm going to cheat and look at my previous code. Pass Steph, what did you do here? Okay, fetch number. Fetch number. That all looks exactly like what I was doing. Coding, how fun. Is there any difference? Something changed, let's see. Oh, is it literally just my console log? Did I stop running this? That's why. No, it's already running. Sorry, everybody.
Did you define it in the set number? The set number function?
The set number function, let's look.
Did you call fetch in the set number function?
Oh, let's see. The set number function. So I'm within my use effect. This should run one time at the beginning. I have the fetch. And then, which one were you talking about?
Trying to call fetch number in the set number. Go back in your code.
Okay, this one?
In your snip code.
The snippet? Oh, we're not quite to this part yet. We're just doing the read.
Okay.
Undefined contract.read.
Yeah, you use set number
number line
box
54.
and set number, there are different functions.
Oh, good catch.
Yeah.
That's totally why. I'm using that before it's defined. Thank you. You all win. This is why it's so great coding with people. I wish I could have all of you here every time I'm working. Yeah. Okay. I'm still not seeing that data read. That's strange. Ethereum, so we're logging the provider. Let's see if the contract is logging. Did I define that weird or something? Okay, it's seeing the contract. It's got this. We have the address. I'm gonna do a quick check on that. This is right. ABI provider, logging the contract. It goes into the try fetch. We're not getting an error, and we're also not reading the log.
You see it on the network tab?
Oh, sure.
Have you defined the number, initial number when you deploy the contract?
Yeah, I did do that because it was 3. Let's double check that though. That's a good call out. I'm going to go back to my artifacts, to my scripts, deploy, number box. Yeah, so we did initialize it with a number, so that looks good too. And it is deployed to an address. I'm going to try one other thing, and I'm going to look at it against my previous smart contract address. I don't think there should be any difference, but let's just see. Oh, the things we run into. Still no.
Is it caching it?
Oh, that could be. Empty cache, hard reload. No. Same account. This is so strange. No idea.
Yeah, why is the gas different on the wallet version? Is it the same account?
I was looking at that too because it looks like the accounts were different, or the accounts are the same, but the Matic here is 0.2 and the Matic here is 0.094. So that is also kind of curious. Let me see if I completely disconnect, reset this cache and try again. Maybe that's what's going on. And
Yeah, it didn't ask to sign.
yeah, that was strange. Disconnect, and I'll also disconnect this one. Hard refresh everything. I would love if this was not a coding bug and it was all a network thing. Okay. $722, Matic. Yeah, you're right. It's still that 0.094. Let me try using an older test account and see if that changes anything. So that did change this. Let's see. That's so strange. I've never seen that happen. Code diff. Yeah, let me try that. I'm just going to copy my full app.js in, even though that's not as satisfying. Save that. Although that's not popping out anything either. I swear this worked.
I think it's a network bug.
Yeah, I think so too, because my code always works. I'm just kidding. But that is super strange, and this was working when you saw it like 10 minutes ago. So either I have no idea what's going on.
Shy.
It's being shy. I'm gonna try switching to that other network just as like one last little check. Other networks. Am I missing it? Oh, here we go. It is not coming up. Okay, we're running out of time. I'm so sorry, guys. This has never happened. But I'm going to take some time to debug this, and I'll send you out any code that is updated. But I have run this before, and I swear this works usually. So not sure completely what's going on with the network, but I'll let you guys know in the sponsor channel. But any questions that I can help with in the last 5 minutes about just like general Polygon things or full stack with Polygon?
Do you guys have any bounties?
We do. We've got 4 different bounties, both in real life and online. And they're $3,000, but we're splitting them in 2. So $1,500 for online and $1,500 for in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are the links for all that?
It's all on Discord and also on DevPost.
Is there a presentation portion to like present to you guys, or is it all just reviewing the dev posts?
I think it's just reviewing the DevPost this time. But there might be a presentation portion on Sunday. Let me see in DevPost. We'll check on the Discord.
Okay, but not anything particular for Polygon itself.
I'll be around, so you can totally come hang out.
Presentations on
Oh.
Sunday yet.
There are presentations? Okay, cool. Sorry, I was completely wrong on that one too. But presentation Sunday. But if you're not around for any reason, just ping the channel, and I'm happy to review offline as well. But cool. I had a few more slides of just like other ways you can get in touch with Polygon. Let me just get back to Canva. My head is still just like, why isn't it working? So I'll be in here debugging if anyone wants to hang out.
I cloned your repository and I tested it on my laptop and it's working.
What? Come on. Okay, well, we have one confirmation. I have no idea why it's not working on mine. That's so weird. Am I cookied? Like, what's going on? But thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Maybe it is the internet, because now my Canva's not loading. Okay, but essentially what I would have told you about is docs.polygon.com, which just has more tutorials, quick start guides, tons of different things. And also, we're running a $500,000 hackathon until next month. I told some of you about it, but our top prize for that one is $50K. So if you wanted to continue your project, but needed a little more time after this weekend, enter that too. Feel free to double dip. Maybe like add one more line of code so that we're like, yeah, they kept working on it. But super excited to see what you all build. We've had super successful projects come out of hackathons that have raised funding, people have gotten jobs, so whatever you're looking to do, you can totally do it this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but thank you so much, and thank you for bearing with me through that.
Can we come to you? We have a couple of questions.
Definitely, yeah. I'll be downstairs all weekend on level -1, but I'll also be roaming around, and you can feel free to come up to me. And then for everybody online, just ping me in Discord, @me@Steph. Thank you so much.
Thanks.